Live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New with Betsy Kling and Jay Crawford.
Hello again, everybody. I certainly hope that you had a wonderful Super Bowl weekend. Congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. There was a moment of depression for me when I realized if you were studying the history of the NFL through the eyes of the Super Bowl, the Cleveland Browns don't exist.
There was a joyous moment for me when the coin flip landed tails, and that's what I had chosen.
You should
Friday.
have been more joyous.
And you chose heads.
But you correctly picked the winner, and I didn't.
Then whoop whoop, I got heads or tails.
All right. It's great to be with you again. Here's what's new at 5 o'clock.
That's right. We start off tonight with Little Italy, one of Cleveland's most iconic neighborhoods, but some new building plans are creating controversy. Now, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, Little Italy is a 5-block or so section of Mayfield Road just east of the major hospitals and cultural attractions here in Cleveland. It's the heart of Cleveland's Italian community and known for authentic Italian restaurants and, of course, the annual Feast of the Assumption.
Brandon Simmons has been following this story all day. He joins us now from the newsroom. Brandon, what more can you tell us about what's going on there?
Well, one thing I can tell you, Jay and Betsy, this is a debate that's going on for quite some time now. We're talking almost a year. Many of Cleveland's popular neighborhoods are also some of the city's most historic neighborhoods. And while developers want to help grow those areas, longtime residents often resist those changes. And that's exactly what's happening here in Little Italy. Hemingway Development is looking to build a 44-unit apartment complex along a busy stretch of Little Italy on Cornell Road near Murray Hill. A lot of people are familiar with that area. And today at a meeting, the developer sought variances for the size of the floor plan and also for the layout of the property. To build this new complex, which totals roughly 60,000 square feet of floor space, 2 homes will need to be demolished on the street, and that new apartment complex would go back about the length of a football field. Now, residents say the area is already congested in terms of traffic and parking, and one man even asked for a study to see how many of the current apartments in the area are being used to date. Now, to be fair, I spoke to Councilman Blaine Griffin about this development, and he said he too had opposed this project until now. He says the developer has scaled the project back by about 30% or so from what it was supposed to be in the original design, and today he supported the variance requests that were made to help move this project forward.
Well, Brandon, it is no surprise to anyone who's been there that Mayfield Road is absolutely congested in that Little Italy area. So residents obviously want to kind of keep that as free as possible. Is there anything they can do to keep all this building from happening?
Yeah, that's a good question. The thing is, they're pretty far along in how this project is going to go. Right now, at this point, the next step, since these variances were approved, is to go to the Little Italy Design Committee. They're going to go over it and make sure things are proper in terms of like paint and whether they use stucco or something like that. But for the most part, it seems like this is pretty much done. That committee meeting will happen next week, and residents kind of have to just, I guess, embrace change more than anything else because it's going to come.
It's a hot place to live, I'll tell you that.
It is, and it's tough, too, because the historic, Brandon, thank you, the historic charm is what makes the area so special. You really hope that whatever the project is, that it sort of maintains the integrity of that area, and hopefully that's the case.
And it's a great connector to get out to other parts of Cleveland, too. So
it is, yeah. Okay, now on to your feed at 5. Did you see the Super Bowl halftime show last night?
Oh, yes.
Wow. You probably have a strong opinion on it one way or another. That's actually our question of the day. Do you think that the halftime show was appropriate? We'd love for you to weigh in. To do that, you can go to WKYC.com/vote now. Please tell us your thoughts. We'll talk about them throughout the show. Betsy, it's the single most watched event on TV all year. We know that. 100 million people simultaneously watching as Shakira and J-Lo did their thing. They were the featured performers, and there were parts of both performers' acts that were drawing criticism on social media. Part of J-Lo's act included her swinging on a pole. There was a lot of skin, for some maybe too much skin. Betsy, what did you think? Are you okay with it? You have young girls.
So I do have young girls, and we watched, and you know, you just have to remind the kids this is entertainment, this is a show, and you know, this is a celebration of Latin culture. This is a Latin show in Miami, and I sit in Northeast Ohio as a mom who celebrates girl power. I think there were a few moments that maybe crossed crossed a line as I'm sitting there with a 4 and an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
But, it opened up a conversation window for me to be able to say,
teaching moment.
You don't have to do that stuff. You don't have to be like that. You can watch it and, have whatever reaction you have to it. But you can make your own decisions about how you want to look and act and dance and all that stuff.
And that's very responsible. There was a moment yesterday, my daughter's 30. There was a moment yesterday when I said, I almost wish my daughter were 10 right now. Because really, the underlying theme of yesterday's Super Bowl was girl power.
Huge.
You saw it in a lot of the commercial messages, including the fact that for the first time ever, we have a female coach coaching one of the teams in the Super Bowl. It literally was all about girls can do anything they want. And it's almost like maybe as a society, we've turned a corner and we're not objectifying women as much as we have in the past.
Right.
And then the halftime show happened. And I said, I'm glad my daughter's 30 today and not 10.
Right.
Because those were always difficult conversations for me to have because you realize that every word you say, you're shaping your child's outlook on the world. And I just think as a society, watching that, this is 100 million viewers and many of them were children.
That's the big sticking point for a lot of people.
Yeah, I can't say that I can give it a thumbs up.
Well, 2/3 of our respondents are saying they did not think it was appropriate. So we turn to Stephanie Haiti, our digital anchor. What do you think? I mean, what are people saying online?
Well, this is a hotly debated topic. So many people very passionate about this. We had over 1,000 comments within an hour of posting this on Facebook, in addition to our poll at wkyc.com/vote now. So a couple comments that we've seen. One 50-year-old woman said that was amazing and that these shows are always over the top, and if you didn't like it, you probably weren't that far from your remote control to switch the channel. But then coming down on the other side of that, another person said, kids do look forward to this show, and it was an adult-only show.
Well, I think the big thing goes back to the Latin culture inspiration for it, too. There was a lot of that. And, Rio de Janeiro, you kind of get the whole feel of the celebratory thing, but yeah, it's definitely a talking point.
There were a lot of comments online about Shakira and the tongue. There were memes that happened instantly.
It's a show.
Well, I'll tell you, at first I thought that was a little over the top, but this was also, you talk about a teaching moment. She shares a rich cultural background that includes being from Colombia.
Right.
And also strong Middle Eastern influence. And that is a Middle Eastern celebratory sound that they make.
Yep.
And I didn't know that. And, when you learn something like that, you say, okay, it takes it, you can look at it. As I throw my pen?
You throw your pen.
I'm not really that angry
It's a celebration.
So I learned something.
Okay.
Which is always good.
Well, let's learn something else. Next on your feed at 5, check this out. The rideshare service Lyft has unveiled a new plan to make it easier for people with transportation issues to get out and vote. The company releasing details today that includes free or discounted rides to and from polling stations to anyone needing assistance. Lyft is partnering with nonprofit organizations, and the service is available starting now for all of the Democratic primaries and running through the presidential election in November. Lyft started a similar program in 2008, but this new initiative is much larger. This is a critical part of our Democratic system. There is the absentee voting opportunity, but a lot of people really like to be there in person and watch their vote get counted.
Absolutely. And I say to Lyft, good for you. Our democracy works best when we have voter engagement.
Right.
And there were times in my adult life where voter apathy was to the point of almost embarrassment.
Yeah.
This is, you can't complain about your society or about your government if you're not active in it. I thought years ago that this should have been a program that was implemented by the government.
Right.
I didn't think about the primaries so much, but I did think on presidential election day, when we know turnout is at its highest, I've always wondered why there wasn't just free public transportation for anyone that needs it to go from their home to their polling station and back to their home.
It's
a lot
big
of
deal.
people have transportation challenges, and this eliminates that as an excuse to not vote.
Get educated, make your plans, and get your vote on. That's what we want you to do.
That's how we work. All right, let's get a check on what else is making news here at 5 o'clock on this Monday. And for that, we say our first hello of the week to Sarah Schuckman. Hi, Sarah.
Hey, good to see you guys. Happy Monday. Well, you just mentioned it with elections, but it is going to be a big week on the political front, starting with the 2020 elections today. Several Democratic presidential candidates are in Iowa, making their final campaign stops before tonight's caucuses. This is the first real vote of sorts, not a vote, but a caucus, to decide who should be the Democratic nominee to take on President Trump. 11 candidates are still in the running, though 7 have actively campaigned in Iowa. The latest polls show Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders leading the pack, and it is worth noting that Senators Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, and Amy Klobuchar are not in Iowa as the impeachment trial is ongoing in Washington. Well, an assistant coach in the Canton School District is on leave tonight over video that appears to show him asking for sex from a minor. Police say this video surfaced on YouTube, and it shows the coach trying to meet with someone he thought was just 15 years old. Police say the person who posted the video online was not a member of law enforcement, and they're warning that it is harder to prosecute cases like this that have no police involvement. And on a lighter note, meet the newest and definitely the cuddliest caregiver at Cleveland Clinic. Kid the Canine helps to make doctor's visits a little easier and manage to deal with them. He also goes on walks with kids in physical therapy. He trained for a year and a half before he started at the clinic, and the Joy in Children Foundation brought Kid in with the goal of brightening the lives of kids battling illness. As you can see, Kid is a golden retriever, that is, and I know, Jay, you have 2 of those.
I do.
Yes.
And today is National Golden Retriever Day.
How about that? So a pretty special day for them to share this new news.
Beautiful animal. Absolutely beautiful. And I don't know about the kids, but nothing puts a smile on my face like a cute, furry golden retriever.
Puppy kisses are a
beautiful.
good thing for everybody. Thanks
They
so
are.
much, Sarah. Well, ahead on What's New, do you know what a money date is? We have a certified financial planner in studio to tell us why money dates are so important. And our Stephanie Haney joins us to give us a quick preview of what's clicking in Cleveland.
Remember those adorable adoptable dogs we talked about a little while ago? We have a wild story about one of them making its home. And Cleveland native Travis Kelce got a little choked up talking about his dad after the Super Bowl. We've got that for you.
And let's check in with Matt Wintz. How's the evening commute shaping up, Matt?
Well, I'll tell you what, evening commute, not quite as adorable, but no major problems outside. We are dealing with typical slowdowns downtown. Don't forget the Cavs taking on the Knicks at 7 o'clock, so we'll deal with that traffic. Out down to the southeast of Canton there, we've got an accident along Route 62. That's eastbound right before Paris Avenue Northeast. Backup's about 10 minutes long with that, and then down towards the south and the west of Akron. 76 looking good. Live traffic cam you can see flowing just fine as we get towards Cleveland, Massillon Road. Things not going to be just fine. Weather-wise, we'll detail exactly what we're dealing with and what's new with the models coming up.
Stephanie Haney, I cannot wait to hear about this dog story. I do remember your story from last week, and when you delivered the story, I thought, I hope that works. It does.
It does work, and
amazing.
not in the way they were expecting at all. This is absolutely incredible. So it was Motorworks Brewing that put these adoptable dogs on cans. We talked about this about a week and a half ago, and they wanted to help get these dogs adopted. Well, they actually helped reunite an owner with her lost dog after 3 years. These are the faces that we first showed you there. Now remember, this is in Central Florida, okay? So second from the right there, the dog named Day Day. Well, her actual name is Hazel, and her owner lives in Minnesota. So like all of us, Monica Mathis saw Hazel on Motorworks Brewing Company's Facebook page, burst into tears because she lost Hazel 3 years ago when she lived in Iowa. Later moved to Minnesota. So in that time period, Hazel found her way to the Manatee Animal Shelter about a year ago, but there was an issue with the microchip that kept them apart. The contact information wasn't there. So Monica was terrified Hazel was going to be adopted, but that's not the case. Hazel is set to head back to her mama.
That's incredible.
Yay!
That's amazing.
Absolutely incredible. Here's something you need to know, by the way, those microchips. If you need to update your microchip information, you can do that at foundanimals.org, no matter where you got it done, no matter who the maker is. So keep that in mind if you are an owner of a pet with a microchip.
Foundanimals.org.
Yes. All right, so an east of Chicago pizza joint here in Barberton is becoming known for its saucy marquee signs. It's the owner, Jeremy, who puts them up. Take a look at his latest one there on the right. Take a close look, read it out loud, tell me what you think it says. It says they're now selling medical marinara, not marijuana. You might have read it wrong. A lot of us read it wrong here. So you can't get your medical marijuana there, but they do have pizza and a great sense of humor.
I'm surprised there's not a long line of cars behind the parking lot.
Right? All right, here's another one good for us. Close at home here. Cleveland Heights High School grad Travis Kelce getting emotional talking about his dad after that Super Bowl win. Our Ben Axelrod was there, caught this moment on camera.
When I look in my father's eyes, man, I know that I made him proud. And
the 49ers
as a son,
won the Super Bowl with the Eagles in 2018. You can see the two of them there swapping jerseys after they played each other earlier that season in September 2017. Really a family guy. You sure heard this guy thanking his mom, his aunt, his uncle, everybody. It was great.
So sweet.
Cleveland's proud of you too, Travis.
Definitely.
Well done.
That's right.
Thanks a lot, Stephanie. Appreciate it. You know, this forecast for today, we were thinking, all right, 50s, woohoo, 60s.
60s,
Yeah, no.
widespread too.
Can we keep that, please?
Yeah, it'd be nice,
I feel like we're winners.
Yeah.
I agree. Weather word champion.
Champion. Got
Yeah.
it.
Why not? Let's
Boy,
honor the
let's
chief.
do it.
Forecast isn't looking like that at all.
Well, you got to fit it in there somehow.
All right, we'll see what happens here. Is this wine over this table?
It
Guys,
is.
this
That's for
so
later.
sweet.
Don't keep
Oh, okay.
going
All
to the
right.
weather.
Sorry. All right. I forgot where we're
That's
at here.
for Betsy.
Of course it is. Any wine in the building's for Betsy. Here we go. Temperatures, guys, yeah, we were in the 60s today. Look at the difference along the lakeshore, though. We've got temperatures that have dropped in the upper 30s. They've been there since early this afternoon. This is a lake breeze. Cold air out over the lake expands. That will contract as we go throughout the evening hours, so temps will actually come up. But this is a very spring-like look to the weather map. That's what happens March, April, May, right? Well, this warm air is not going to last for much longer. You know something is amiss. We're spinning up a storm system off to the south and the west. This will lead us to the wintry mess that we've been talking about over the last couple nights. We've got moisture coming in from the south, colder air coming in from the north. All this is going to come together to form a decent boundary that'll be with us pretty much all week long. That's going to bring us several storm systems, as you see. So let's talk to the first one as we go throughout the forecast. Feeling like a champion overnight tonight because temperatures are going to be, that's right. That made no sense, but that's right. We got it in here before we talk the wintry mix here. But tomorrow morning, do plan for some rainfall. Everything going to start as rain tomorrow. Temperatures are going to be well above freezing. I think we're going to start our day near 50, but then watch what happens to go throughout the day. So we've got on and off rain throughout our Tuesday. Colder air starts sinking into that rain that we have. That will change some of the rain over, I think, late afternoon and evening over to a wintry mix, perhaps some sleet. I don't think freezing rain is going to be a whole big issue with this, mainly some sleet mixing with the rain and then eventually some snowflakes. But what's new with the forecast is that we bring drier air in here quicker. If you joined me last night, we were talking about a pretty messy situation tomorrow night, but it does look like we'd start to dry things out a little bit quicker than what it was hinting at yesterday. So that is some good news to our forecast. Still can't rule out some snow snow tomorrow night and Wednesday morning. We'll have to keep an eye on the roads Wednesday morning, but as of right now, does not look as crazy as it did last night. So Wednesday, we're between systems. We go dry. Wednesday looks very quiet, fairly seasonable. We'll be in the 30s. And then beyond that, that's when we bring in a more potent area of low pressure that could cause some problems on Thursday. So there you go. There's our dry weather on Wednesday. Thursday, though, we bring in a slug of moisture in our cold air. We could be talking some wintry mess around here Wednesday night and Thursday. And then it all goes over to snow, as you see here in the Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. Kind of up and down temperatures over the next couple days. We'll detail more about that storm and what's new with that coming up in the forecast. Jay.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. You know the deal. Here on the show, we like to tell you what's new. There is something new and fun going on right now at the Greater Cleveland Aquarium. Betsy, it involves stingrays.
I know. That's a great place to go see them. I learned a new word today online, cartilaginous fish. That's what stingrays are.
All right.
Lindsey Buckingham is there swimming with the fishes or nearby. You get it?
Hey, I got it, Betsy. I got it. Hey, guys, how you doing? Well, first of all, things are going just swimmingly here at the Greater Cleveland Aquarium by the stingray tank. So I've got a question. Any of you want to tag in for me? I don't want to be shellfish, I don't want to be shellfish. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to feed one of these guys right now. It's a user experience. Woo, there we go.
What?
He's a hungry little fella. That was slimy, but here's what's cool. So you can do this Monday through Friday. Here, girl. You can do this Monday through Friday, but what they're adding, what's new, is Saturday. So you weekend visitors can get to do this at 11 a.m. So rather than 5 days, they're expanding it to 6 days. Okay, Betsy and Jay, from feeding to painting, we're gonna have these guys be a little Picasso when we get back.
Okay.
Painting stingrays. I can't wait to see how this happens.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go wash my hands.
Yeah, please do. Lindsay, we'll see you in just a little bit.
We definitely will. Thanks a lot, girlfriend. Well, it's Monday, and here on What's New, coming up, stay with us to find why it's critical for you to set up a money date, whether you are in a relationship or not.
Hi, Jay. Nice to meet you. Yes.
since we're so close to Valentine's Day, we're learning about how to set up a money date with yourself or with your significant other.
I want to hear about this money date with yourself. Elizabeth Scheiderer is here. She's a certified financial planner. She joins us now, and I guess you're going to tell us what goes down during this money date. So what happens? How does it unfold?
Yeah, so money date's really an opportunity for you and your partner to get together and talk about something that's been on your mind financially, really check in. And it's supposed to be fun and a good time just to really check in without fighting.
You can have fun talking about money
yes,
with your
you can.
Well, how often should this happen annually?
Yeah, so at least once a year, but maybe throughout the year if you find it's a positive experience, checking in, especially if one partner tends to lead the financial conversation, you can bring the other person in and really kind of catch up.
It's a good idea, Betsy. Do you know, and I'm sure you do, that finances is one of the #1 reasons couples divorce?
It is.
I think it's #1, in fact.
All right, well, we have a tax form and a credit report here. So what do we get to do with these?
Yeah, so the tax form is really, it's this time of year, you're getting all your tax forms in the mail, you're getting ready to file your return. So why not compare this last year to the year before? You got everything together, see
Take a little inventory.
Yeah, are you on track? Are you behind track? Is everything kind of lining up the way you were thinking?
Okay, and then the credit report?
Yeah, the credit report's great to review at least once a year for 2 reasons. The first is, unfortunately, if you're subject to identity theft, you're going to find out on your report. You're going to find an account that you didn't know about, something in that regard, so that could be a red flag.
Right.
And then the second is, if you're looking to maybe refinance, go out and get a mortgage, you want your credit score to be as strong as possible, so you definitely want to check in on that.
Do that annually. Betsy, do you notice the little subtle dating music underneath there?
I
It's like we're at a restaurant and the piano guy is just playing off just for us over our shoulder.
But
That's
we can't
fantastic.
open the wine because whoever is on wine detail got a actual cork top, not a screw top.
Yeah, Betsy's angry about that. Okay, so we go over these things. What else should we talk about during this once a year money date?
Yeah, so if you haven't talked about it before, it's a great time to talk about maybe how you grew up with money, especially if you have children. You know, how do you want to talk to them about money? Kind of get down to the nitty gritty about why you feel the way you feel about saving or spending on the other side of it.
Yeah, that's always helpful, particularly if things run in line. Now, I wonder if do you ever go over past credit card charges or accounts? Is that off limits?
It's in the past. Don't look back. Just focus on the future.
No,
honey,
if you haven't paid it off.
Yeah, what's this
I got your
charge
back, Tracy.
So what happened in the past stays in the past.
You've already paid for it.
All
It's
right.
all
Only
back
if that
there.
bill's paid off, guys.
That's right.
Only if
Don't
it's
worry
paid
about
off.
Elizabeth, this is a fun concept.
Well, hey, enjoy.
Thanks for coming and helping us figure out what we need to be talking
to get our
about during our money
schedules
date.
aligned up.
Yes.
Definitely.
Still to come on What's New. Are there safety concerns at Crocker Park? We have the latest on a second brazen shoplifting arrest.
And if you're already doing Pilates, or maybe you're just figuring out how to give it a try, Emily Mayfield has what you need to know about 2 different Pilates techniques.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New with Betsy Kling and Jay Crawford.
Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome back to What's New. Here's what we have working for you in the next half hour. Lindsey Buckingham is getting a first look at the new session at the aquarium that lets you paint with stingrays.
I can't wait to see this. Plus, Beyonce, Jay-Z, they are stirred up a little bit of controversy. They sat during the national anthem last night at the Super Bowl. And there's been multiple thefts at Crocker Park. This is a wild story. Basically brazen shoplifting, totaling more than $30,000 worth of merchandise. Romney Smith has been on that story all day, and she's going to join us later to tell us all we need to know about that.
Lots going on, certainly. But first, Sarah Shookman is back with the stories topping news at the bottom of the hour. Hey, Sarah.
Hey guys, well, just this afternoon, maybe you saw this, nationally syndicated conservative talk radio host Rush Limbaugh shared some hard news, saying he has advanced lung cancer. Limbaugh made the announcement during his show today, saying he will miss some shows while he's in treatment. The 69-year-old radio host says he has a great team of doctors assembled and he will figure out his course of treatment in the coming days. And Earth Fare is closing all its natural grocery locations nationwide as the chain announced full liquidation today. Now, 3 of those stores are in our area. The company says the challenges in the retail industry as a whole are the reason, and that all of its employees are aware of what's to come. The stores will start liquidating items as soon as today, but no timeline for the closure was announced. Well, his books may scare you, but author Stephen King says it's Facebook that scares him. King has quit Facebook after voicing concerns about false information and privacy. He made the decision public in a tweet on Friday, saying he's not comfortable with the flood of false information that's allowed in Facebook's political advertising, nor is he confident in its ability to protect its users' privacy. Now, King is still very active on Twitter, which announced last year that it will stop accepting political ads here. And guys, he is not alone. Lots of people brought up this conversation, should I quit, whatever, particularly after the Cambridge Analytica crisis, as you remember. But Facebook just published its quarterly numbers last week for the end of 2019, and it continues to grow just by leaps and bounds. There are now 2.5 billion monthly active users.
It's about half the world.
Pretty incredible.
I'm among those not in the Facebook world. Yeah, I'm old school.
I like connecting with people, so.
Sarah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, the first major votes of the 2020 election are taking place tonight. The Iowa caucuses start at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and this year the state approved 87 satellite caucuses. So people who normally can't make it because of work will actually have their voices heard too.
That's a positive change. Russ Mitchell explains how the caucus is different than how we vote.
Let's start with this. There are no voting booths. Instead, voters show up at caucus sites throughout the state's nearly 1,700 precincts. These caucus sites include churches, school gymnasiums, and libraries, even living rooms. Democratic caucuses are based on discussion. After introductions and hearing from the candidates, caucus participants will show support for their favorite candidate by dividing into groups. They'll also try to convince undecided voters to join their team. Then everyone gets counted. At most locations, caucus organizers will be looking to see if a group has at least 15% support in that room. Any group that does not have 15% has to join other teams, convince others to join them, declare themselves undecided, or simply go home.
Yeah, go home. There is a Republican caucus today as well. It's done a little differently, but it basically doesn't matter because no one is opposing President Trump at all.
So why are the caucuses so important? Where does this fit in?
Well, this is the first, as you said, the first political contest of the season, so people are paying attention to that big time. Also, if you win the Democratic caucus, the history has shown that you're going to do pretty well as you go down the road. I think since 2000, every Democrat who has won in Iowa has gone on to become the nominee. It also just gives you a boost for the next primary in New Hampshire. I have covered 3 of these in Iowa, and it is fascinating to watch these guys get in there. They go to rubber chicken dinners. They go to Aunt Ethel's, knitting fair or whatever. They get to get their name out there. And the night of the caucus, or certainly the day after, they are on a plane to New Hampshire.
Wow.
Going to the next one. And I thought the Iowans would be upset about that or feel bad about it. They go, no. We are happy to be in the spotlight for this amount of time, and they want to be first in the nation, and they have fought to do that.
Quickly, there's been some talk that this necessarily isn't the best way to choose a presidential candidate because Iowa doesn't exactly mirror the demographics of the country.
I've always wondered about that. Iowa, you're right, not representing the country. Also, the caucus system as well. You get in there and there's people talking. It's not a vote. New Hampshire, the same way. Not demographically accurate or representative of the country. You have to get to South Carolina, which I believe is 2 weeks away before you get to that. But,
but by then, one candidate has inertia.
That is true. And Iowa's the first in the nation that they fought for this since 1972. So more power to them.
Somebody was brilliant back then.
That is true.
Thank you so much, Russ.
Yeah, very interesting. Thanks, Russ. Now, for our top talker, Crocker Park, very popular place. I'm sure you've been there. Many go there to shop, eat, and play, but there's been a few robberies there recently, actually more like organized shoplifting, that has resulted in more than $30,000 worth of product being stolen.
Romney Smith has been on this story today for us, and she joins us live now from Crocker Park. Romney, this is one of those unsettling things. Can you fill us in on some of the more details?
Yeah, guys, I'm actually at the Westlake Police Department right now, and here's the thing. We're not talking about someone who has their car door unlocked and has an item or two taken. That does happen, but like Jay mentioned, we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars of items being taken. Look at this surveillance video that we got our hands on today from the Westlake Police Department. You clearly see that there are plenty of people inside the store. And what happens is a guy starts looking around. And so, you know, he starts picking up Apple Watches. Now, that's normal. People do that when they're looking at the product. But then he starts stuffing them in his pocket. It takes a moment for staff to notice. And when they do, they try to approach him. And he runs toward the door and gets away. In this particular video, he made off with $27,000 worth of items in that one trip. He was actually arrested in Pittsburgh hours later at, you guessed it, another Apple store after trying to take even more Apple Watches and Apple AirPods. Now, I sat down with police because, as you saw, there were so many people in that store. I said, what do you do if you're shopping and you look over and you see someone taking high-dollar items? What should you do? Some people might freeze. Some people might get their video camera out to try to help police. I have all that coming up for you tonight at 6 o'clock. But guys, a pretty brazen thing for an area that's very safe, very calm, very family friendly. It's quite unnerving for a lot of shoppers.
But there's been no violence associated with these incidents.
Correct. There's been no gun used at all, no violence, no one's gotten hurt. So that's the silver lining to this cloud.
Very important to note. Thank you so much, Romney.
Still a little unsettling to see. I mean, the man walks in the store and leaves with $27,000 worth of Apple products. All right. I have a feeling that our pop break segment is going to have a heavy dose of Super Bowl to it. Stephanie Haney, am I right?
Oh yeah, Jay, you are right about that. A lot of people, for one thing, are talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce not standing during the national anthem. We've got all the details on that in your pop break right now. Hugh Grant gave us the Bridget Jones's Diary reunion we've all been waiting for at the BAFTAs last night. He was the first person to congratulate Renee Zellweger for winning Best Actress in the Judy Garland biopic Judy, and he let her know just how proud he was with an iconic line from the series the two starred in together.
Well, first of all, well done, Jones. That was a very, very silly little dress, I thought.
In Miami, it was everything that happened off the field that really has people talking today about Super Bowl Sunday. First up, Queen Bee and Jay-Z didn't stand during the national anthem. The power duo are outspoken supporters of Colin Kaepernick and his kneeling protest during the Star-Spangled Banner. Even knowing this, though, the internet was not happy they stayed in their seats. And speaking of Super Bowl musical numbers, one special girl really stole the halftime show. Jennifer Lopez's daughter Emmy stepped in to help her mom sing. Clearly, musical talent runs in that family.
It gives me chills.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
What a cool moment for the family, right? So you also saw Shakira on the stage there drumming while Emmy was singing.
Yeah.
Shakira is actually a client of Rock Nation, and Rock Nation is Jay-Z's company which struck that deal with the NFL to bring more diversity to the show. So this is the first Super Bowl he's been a part of.
That's what's interesting about the Jay-Z story, because he is in the NFL fold now. And there were some that were really upset with Jay-Z for sort of joining the NFL. They viewed that as the other side in the Kaepernick feud. And I guess this might appease that crowd by sitting during the national anthem, but I wondered this morning, the talk on Park Avenue in New York City at the NFL offices, one of their business partners decided to essentially protest the national anthem. Interesting.
It's interesting, and the way this partnership came up was actually because they tried to get Jay-Z for the Super Bowl, and they told him that he had to bring Kanye and Rihanna with him, so there was a whole discussion there.
He said no.
He said no.
Yeah.
He said, you get me, that's not how this works. So some people do see him as this taking it to the next step, the Kaepernick conversation.
All right, interesting.
Thanks so much.
Okay, ahead on What's New, we're going to look at the weather. That's a great idea, Matt.
Guys, off the weather printer, it just printed, hot off the fresh.
The
What's
dot
new?
matrix?
The dot matrix. We're out of paper, Betsy, by the way. Do I order that, or is that something yesterday's supposed to do? Anyway, today's high temperatures, we broke a record. New Philadelphia, 64 degrees. Woo-hoo! Another record broken in Mansfield. That's 2 days in a row. We were all in the 60s. Don't get used to that. Big changes this week. We'll detail what that forecast looks like coming up.
Pat yourself on the back, people. You're a part of history today. Well, it's time now for today's top pop quiz. This month, we are celebrating Black History. So today we're asking, when did Black History Month become a month-long celebration? Was it in 1926, 1956, or 1976? The answer on the other side of the break. All right, everybody, it's time now for the answer to our pop quiz. We asked you when Black History Month became a month-long celebration, and the answer is...
I think it's 76.
1976. It's according to History.com. February was chosen to coincide with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln. It first started as a week-long celebration in 1926.
Was that the year that the Roots miniseries came out?
I love that miniseries.
I think it was 1976, and it was in February. Mm-hmm. And I always thought that it started, in conjunction with that.
Right.
I didn't know, but in my mind, that's where it was.
Well, I got to tell you, a lot of people have been celebrating 60s and sunshine today, but Matt, you said that's not going to last so long.
Well, unfortunately, it's not. You know, early February around here, 60s and even some mid-60s outside, that's bonus territory. We were definitely in it. So things are going to change. You know, something's going on when we have temperatures like this, right? We had 70s last month. And then that went away quickly with a bigger storm. And we've got something brewing now in the atmosphere, and that is bringing up all the warm air that we've had over the last 2 days. But just off to the west, you can see that wind flow pushing down to the south, starting to stir up a storm system, and that's what we've been highlighting here over the last couple days. So we've got the moisture coming in. Now, we've had the clear skies today. These clouds are going to quickly fill in. We're already seeing that western side of the viewing area right now, and that rain won't be far behind as this thing really gets going. So 2 distinct waves for the storm systems that we are dealing with this week. First one arrives tomorrow and will end by Wednesday morning. So let's talk about that first. Then we get a break and we can deal with the second wave. So we're going to have a pretty rainy day tomorrow. Out the door in the morning, you will need the umbrella. The showers will come and go throughout the day. Could see some moderate rain from time to time. We're going to head out the door tomorrow morning to 50-degree temperatures. Don't be fooled, though, because as we go throughout the day, we've got a northwest wind that'll kick in. Temps will drop. We'll go down to the 40s by noon, back into the 30s by afternoon. Any leftover rain that we have tomorrow will change over to mix of some sleet and some snow before ending. So we could have some slick spots tomorrow evening. I don't think it'll be widespread by any means. And then we're kind of going quiet for a while. So Wednesday looks quiet at this point, but much cooler. We'll be in the 30s. But a quiet day. We can all breathe and continue to fine-tune that forecast for our next wave. So here's our first wave. This is what it looks like, kind of big picture. That moves by on Tuesday. Here's our break on Wednesday. But that boundary between the warm and the cold still exists. Let's throw another slug of moisture on it, and here it comes. This one could cause some problems. Now, the moisture expected to arrive after the Wednesday evening rush hour. So as of right now, Wednesday evening rush hour looks good, but we're talking a mix of perhaps starting as snow, then changing over to freezing rain and sleet perhaps Wednesday night. That's when things are going to get messy. And thankfully, what's new with the model run, it's brought this low pressure a little further north and west. So that will bring warmer air into the system briefly. So hopefully we can change things over to all rain during the daytime on Thursday as we go throughout the morning and midday. And then the whole system should eventually wrap up, and maybe some snow on the backside of that on Friday. So the timeline looks like this. Tomorrow morning, we're fine. Tomorrow evening, perhaps some slick spots. Wednesday, we can take a breather, and then Wednesday night, that's when it gets dicey heading into Thursday morning, and we'll continue, obviously, to fine-tune the track of that forecast and the intensity. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. There's your temp drop tomorrow. We're back up with that surge of warm air on Thursday, and then the weekend at this point, just a couple snow showers around, but the big impacts go all the way through Friday. Guys?
All right. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Well, it turns out that, and who knew, stingrays are artists. The Greater Cleveland Aquarium has a new session, and it actually lets you paint using the stingrays. I can't wait to see this.
This is one to take your kids to for sure. It's a fun family place, and Lindsay Buckingham is there with a first look at how this happens. What is going on out there with those stingrays, Lindsay?
Hey, Jay and Betsy, I've since calmed down from the first demonstration. That was very cool. I'm not knocking it. I'm much more comfortable in the painting thing. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to take a clipboard, blank canvas. Joining me now, you're not going to believe this, is Ray Hoppick. Good morning, Ray. Good evening, Ray, I should say.
How are you doing?
I'm all flustered from the feeding still. Okay, tell me how this works. And this is very cool because you guys, this used to be a private thing where if you had private events, you could book a session, but now they are opening up this to general admission.
Correct. We're going to add this to our Saturday schedules at 11 a.m. This will be open to the public. Anyone can walk up and purchase a ticket to do it.
Okay.
And how this works is we've got some food in the end of this apparatus.
Alrighty.
The stingrays are going to try to get the food out of there, and that's going to cause the paintbrush to move around.
Oh.
And then we just have to maintain contact with that clipboard. Don't press too hard or you'll stop it. Just gentle enough, and it'll zigzag all over the place.
So tell how this is working, because there's a ball of food down there,
so down at the bottom here in the water, we've got a bowl with some food. It's got shrimp. It's one of their favorite snacks. That's what we were using earlier.
Okay.
And they're going to try to get the food out of it. It's actually just a dog toy we've repurposed for our needs. And as they move that around to manipulate it and get the food out, it's going to make this arm on the apparatus move. And it's going to make painting motions up at the top.
I'm not kidding you guys. I am not forcing this. This thing's coming in hot at my face.
It'll
I'm going to
zigzag
stick to
all
the
over the
clipboard,
place.
you guys.
And what's really cool is a lot of places, other zoos and aquariums do paintings like this with the animals, and they let the guests buy them at raffles or in the gift shops, but you never actually get to be the one interacting with it. It's always done by the staff. We're one of the very few places that allows the guests to actually do the interaction with our animals.
And it's good for the animals too, right?
It is. It's a form of enrichment. So enrichment's anything where an animal gets a chance to try hard harder for their food, interact with their environment differently. So zoos and aquariums, you'll see like the balls in the big cat exhibits or puzzles and stuff. This is just another way for our animals to forage and find their food, and it gets them more engaged and more active in the exhibit.
Ray, thank you so much. I love that. Mr. Ray. Jay and Betsy, look, they drew a little picture of you guys.
Pretty cool.
See? Jay, Betsy, isn't that beautiful? And the brand colors, too.
Lindsay,
Can
I
we get
thought-
extra brownie points for that?
I thought you were going to play a joke on us, and I thought you were going to turn the clipboard around and it would be our logo.
Mona
And
Lisa
you don't
or
have to wait for
something.
the private party. You can come on down and do it yourself. So we'll send it back to you guys.
Thanks so much, Lindsay. I love that. I put my 4-year-old up against that stingray anytime.
It looked like my finger
Just let
painting.
it go. But that's a really neat thing to have a talking little feature in your house. We'll be right back. Well, it's a major resolution for so many people, and there are so many new types of fitness programs out there now, but one that continues to hold its popularity is Pilates.
Very big. Our 3 News special correspondent, Emily Mayfield, tried out a few Pilates-inspired workouts in Cleveland to see how they stack up to some other workouts.
Anyone who knows me knows I'm very into fitness, but one thing that I've admittedly always been intimidated by is Pilates. So I'm pushing outside my comfort zone a little bit, and I have found a few hidden gems here in Cleveland. Starting out at Callie's Pilates, downtown at the 9. All right, I'm here with Callie, the owner of Callie's Pilates. So I've taken a few classes with you, plan to take more. Let's just kind of talk a little bit about your studio in particular.
So we are coming up on our year of being open. We took a storage unit here at the 9 and just completely transformed it. And I wanted to create a small, intimate space. I get to spend more time fixing your form, making sure that you guys are getting that extra attention in class.
Tell us a little bit about what drew you to Pilates.
My favorite thing about Pilates is that it's a full body workout within 55 minutes while getting strength and flexibility, and we focus a lot on core.
I have 2 friends on their way right now. We're gonna take a class and hopefully show you guys some moves.
Excited to teach you guys. Keep our hips lifted. We're gonna press the carriage up. Opening it right back up.
Woo, I'll feel that one.
You're gonna extend your legs out nice and straight behind you.
Now Now that I've tackled a normal Pilates class, I decided I should probably challenge myself, amp it up, and take a class at Core CLE. So come with me. I'm here with Sherry, the owner of Core CLE here in Westlake. Tell us a little about Core CLE.
We are the only Legree fitness studio in Cleveland. It's inspired out of Pilates, but it's a much more athletic style of Pilates. And it's something that everybody can do, whether you're a novice or whether you're an athlete.
Walking into Core CLE, it looks like a reformer on steroids. Can you tell us a little about this machine that we use here?
The Megaformer is different as we do have additional springs. There's more spring loads for the Megaformer than the Reformer, and you work off both platforms. You work off the front and the back platform, and then there are different angles that can create a different effect for each targeted muscle group.
When I moved here a year ago, I got countless DMs about having to try Core CLE. I'm excited. I'll be trying my 3rd class today here with Sherry. Wish me luck. I know how sore I was after the first 2 classes, and I have a flight tomorrow, so you might be my friend today. We might be enemies tomorrow.
You'll be fine.
In 5, in 4, in 3, 2, 1. The stronger you are on your core, the stronger your limbs are gonna be.
This one hurts.
Nice work, team. Great job.
Good job. All right, well, that is definitely not your standard Pilates class. Thoroughly enjoyed both these studios, and you should absolutely check them out.
So if you're looking for more of a stretch and a relaxed workout, Emily says try Callie's Pilates. But if you want a hardcore workout, try Core CLE.
Yeah, you've done it.
Not with the machines.
It's a lot
It
harder
just
than I
looks
expected.
painful.
Yeah, the machines stretch out, and it's a good workout, though. We got golden retriever pictures next.
So excited.
Hey there, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Brandon Simmons is live with the details. Now the historic neighborhood.
Hello, mic check. The NBC Nightly News is just minutes away, but we begin with controversy.
Hey, Al, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you hear me?
Hey, I got y'all. Hey.
Worth the watch is going to the dogs. It is National Golden Retriever Day, so we had to show off some of your cute pups. How cute is this Gideon pack? Meet Colt, Angus, Maisie, and Holly. And there's Willow.
Birthday boy.
Right, Saturday birthday. And then
Yeah, it's my babies.
Aww.
That's Layla in the back and young Maddie in the front. They're sisters.
Well, more of what matters most to him and to all of you is coming up now.
Tonight, history versus progress. The backlash over plans for a new building right in the heart of Little Italy. Also, shopping safe. Several robberies at a popular outdoor mall. How you protect yourself when you shop. All eyes on Iowa. The pros and cons of the state's caucuses, how they work and why they matter. And Rush Limbaugh's health. The conservative talk show host reveals news about a serious medical condition.
From the WKYC studios, this is What Matters Most.
Controversy tonight in one of Cleveland's most popular and packed destinations as developers in Little Italy are pushing to build a new apartment complex. Thanks for joining us. Now, while the neighborhood right near Case Western has college housing too, longtime residents are saying no thanks to this project.
Brandon Simmons is live with details on how this historic neighborhood could be changing. Brandon, good evening.
Hi, Russ and Sarah. Not enough parking, too many rental properties, too much congestion. Those are some of the reasons residents gave me for why they don't want an apartment complex built right behind me. More changes could be coming to Little Italy as developers move forward on an apartment project on Cornell Road near Murray Hill. 2 homes would be demolished, replaced by what would be a 44-unit apartment complex. That's about the length of a football field. The project signals growth in the historic neighborhood, growth that some residents oppose.
I'm opposed to this project. I've written a letter.
I'd like to emphasize I am against this.
In a zoning appeals hearing today, Hemingway Development asked for variances for rules regarding the property's layout and the floor space of the building, which would include the 44 apartments, for a total of about 60,000 square feet. That's 30% smaller than the original design, enough to gain Cleveland Councilman Blaine Griffin's support.
So I support the variances that are being submitted today.
But he also empathizes with residents about rapid changes that are happening in Cleveland's historic neighborhoods.
I do want to see a more stringent process of demolition, that the landmarks review so that we don't go down a path of eradicating a neighborhood that really is trying to hold on to its integrity.